Welcome back to Final Fantasy Tactics All Oracles Challenge Run. We have just defeated Gafgarian over at the Golgrand execution site, and now we are heading to face Gafgarian one more time at the gate of Lionel Castle. This is another interestingly placed battle. You have a split party here with Ramza by himself up on top of the rampart across a solid wall, and Gafgarian faces off with him. So you have a face-to-face battle together with Gafgarian. The rest of your party is down on the ground on the outside of the gate, and they face off with a bunch of physical bruisers plus summoner. So this is another battle where you are, I believe, you're numerically outnumbered. Ramza has a one-on-one battle, so it's kind of two battles going on at the same time. You've got one battle where you've got a disadvantage on the ground, and Ramza has a one-on-one fight where he can have a disadvantage in abilities because Gafgarian has a big reach with his Knight Sword and can heal himself, and no one else can really do much with Ramza, nor can he very easily interact with the battle going on the ground, but it is possible he can interact with the battle on the ground. So, let's take a look and see what happens. Ramza himself has, in this battle, I believe he has some boots. He has the battle boots to give him that extra movement for this one, because he will need that sometimes to be able to either reach Gafgarian or to stay out of Gafgarian's reach. We've got 6 on 4 on the ground over there, and then Gafgarian and Ramza. And again, just like the execution site, Gafgarian is going to get a turn very first, and he's going to get a swing in on Ramza himself. So he's going to take some damage there. Now Ramza has got to get Gafgarian taken care of in some way. Now Gafgarian did kind of charge right up to be within range of Paralyze or Don't Act right there. So Ramza is going to cast Paralyze on him and then wait to try to get another turn, possibly a little bit earlier, so that maybe he can start draining Gafgarian, which is that's going to be what needs to happen. We need to keep Gafgarian from using that stuff on himself to gain his own life back, and then Ramza, of course, will have to drain him to take him out. So the other the other oracles here are moving up. We're going to try to deal with that summoner as quickly as possible with either Silence or Paralyze. The first oracle couldn't quite reach to the summoner, but this oracle can reach to the summoner, so we're just checking to see who has what in terms of abilities and equipment. So the summoner has basic skills, so it's possible that summoner might have heal, actually. The summoner might be able to use the heal ability. So we got to watch out for that. Knights with robes, it looks like, so their hit point total is not so big. That knight has basic skill as well, so that knight may also have heal, which could take silence away. That's the biggest thing we're looking for is can they get silence removed? So we're charging silence right away. That's gonna at least mark the summoner for silence. I've talked about this in a lot of other battles. So there's a silence charging on the summoner. So when the summoner's action comes up, the game is gonna think that silence is gonna happen to him. So he's gonna choose to probably do something besides cast, unless he can cast something that's gonna go off before the silence. So we'll have to see how that all shakes out. It kind of depends on what he chooses to do and how the rest of this shakes out. But I really shouldn't be spreading my oracles around too much. I'd like to keep them together if we can. And also just the first round here, I really just want to debilitate these guys as much as possible to get them so that they're not able to harm us to a great deal. So let's see what we can do. I'm just checking compatibility and checking damage on things. Looks like Life Drain is going to work on that knight. So here we're already just going with physical damage up front here, gaining hit points that we haven't quite lost yet. So we're going a little bit on the offensive with these guys. Maybe the thinking is trying to get some of these guys down a little bit quicker. This is a little bit longer battle, so if you are watching this, you may want to watch it on YouTube on 1.5 times speed if you want to just see the battle play out. I use that trick a lot if you wish to or care to do that. These oracles down here on the ground, I've talked about accessories. These guys have the mantles, the wizard mantles, I think they are. So they're going to give me some evasion. And so that's why Ramza has the boots, because most of Gafgarian's stuff he's not going to be able to dodge anyway, even with the mantle. So these guys are hopefully going to dodge some sword swings, dodge some arrows, and maybe dodge a summon if we can, if there are some things. So they're right there. There was a mantle dodge of the arrow. So Anytime I have battles like this where the physical damage is likely to be coming in, I will put those mantles on to help dodge some damage come in if I don't need the movement so much. So you saw us, we've already dodged a couple of attacks, the one arrow and one sword swing from the front there. There's a throw stone. That's curious. Now these knights can also have elementals, so I believe the first roll of this battle, I had a knight who used carve model and actually took one of our characters out, petrified them right in the first round. So that was really unfortunate. So Gafgarian is in Don't Act status, which is good. And now I'm hoping that Ramza can get another turn before Gafgarian, because now he can charge, and exactly as I mentioned that, he can get a life drain on Gafgarian, which is also going to be a good chance to land. Perfect. And he's going to wait here as well. I probably should have moved right there. I'm thinking about this later. I should have used that action to move, because I'm going to be low on MP as we start to get closer to the end of this fight here, and Gafgarian's going to move out of range anyway for a few rounds. While he's in Don't Act status, he's going to just run away. So I should have probably moved Ramza to the front of the rampart, where Ramza could actually have started to have an impact down here on the ground for my other oracles, while Gafgarian is just hanging out in Don't Act status way in the back. So we're looking to see where I can be most effective with our oracles here. The knights have all kind of scrunched up against my characters, so I need to be careful about how I'm targeting things like sleep or paralyze on these knights, and make sure that I don't have any of my own allies within the range of these spells now that the knights have all kind of scrunched up on us. So I'm looking to see where I can target things, what I should do. And so I'm using the wait trick here. It's not really a trick again, but it gets them a turn faster. So using wait, I'm trying not to move around too much now that we're basically within striking distance of most of the characters. And the summoner is silenced down there. I just need to be able to kind of neutralize some of these physical enemies, and then we're going to be in okay shape. We can then go to work on these guys with paralyze and other things that we need to do. Or sorry, petrify and other things that we need to do. So it looks like I'm really heavily going after Paralyze on these knights, and that helps a lot. Paralyze has been such a useful spell, and Life Drain will come into its own here in this battle as well, because we are going to be taking some damage, of course, from the archers. Just like at the execution site, the archers are going to be causing problems almost all the way through. They're going to be hitting us from a distance, and they're going to be a little bit harder to hit with things like Drain Life. Also checking physical damage there. And there is the physical smack from the stick. And we're using the weight as well to try to get her a turn a little bit faster. Maybe this Drain Life will finish the job. It certainly does. And we pick up some HP. So I'm trying to keep my characters healthy and wealthy and alive. So that's just a straight up attack. The character was charging, so I could see why the archer would go for the charging character for a bit of a boost. The defense up passive ability is pretty useful here at this juncture. Definitely useful. So one knight is in Don't Act. Let's see if we can land it on the other knight. Yes, we do. So both of the knights are in Don't Act status. The summoner is in silent status, but the summoner can still come up here and do a dash on us or a tackle on us. So I think that's the basic skill coming in for that summoner. So the summoner not using his stick on us, but the summoner going there. And here's Ramza looking around at the bottom of this battle here and going, okay, well, I've got some guys down here, and if I get into the alcove up here, I can actually have an impact down here on the ground. So this is Ramza taking a move, getting some MP, and then he's going to look and see if he can help out the rest of the battle down here. So he's checking, he's calculating, he's thinking, and he is going to go for Drain Life on that knight down there. And he's pretty much immune from everything right now. There's nothing on the ground that can really get to him when he's that high. And Gafgarian is still in Don't Act status, so he's going to keep moving towards the corner. And it's going to take him about 2 rounds to get back into range to attack Ramza. And I'm hoping then that he'll move to a place where he can't hit Ramza, but then Ramza can jump up and paralyze him again before he gets a drain off. So Ramza gets another life drain off on that knight. And this Oracle right here, we're checking on, I'm looking at getting it to stick range to just maybe finish that summoner off. Sadly, a little bit less damage there on that hit, but it's going to be better than Drain Life is. And this one has an 85% chance to land, but that summoner, I believe, had a mantle on and dodged the attack. So we'll see if we can get, with this attack, that 70 damage to land, and we do. Summoner is down, so even if silence ends, we are in okay shape. So I'm looking to see where we can go. Life Drain's going to go off right now, but sadly, bad compatibility over there. Pretty terrible chance to hit. I shouldn't just say compatibility. It's a combination of evasion and all that stuff, too. So I'm looking for, where can I go? What can I do that's the most effective? She can also move into stick range of that archer if she wanted to. So do I go for Drain Life to try to pick up some HP since she's taken a hit or two? Do I go for Paralyze to try to stop that archer from doing anything? And that archer is in Don't Act status, so perfect. Landed. Gafgarian is healed of Don't Act now, but as I said before, it's going to take him a couple of rounds, especially since he just moved over there. It's going to take him a couple of rounds to get into the fray again. So I'm looking to see where I can go. Can I move Ramza to where he can have an impact over here? Because I really want Gafgarian to come to me. I don't want to start going towards Gafgarian. I'd have to do a lot of tile counting to make sure I could stay out of range of his Night Sword attack. And so I just instead decide to just go over here and go after the Knight again. It was successful last time, why not this time? So now this Oracle is nearly full health, so she's not really needing to do a drain over here. She's looking to see where can I move and still act on somebody who has a threat to me. And I'm looking to see over here for that archer. I believe that archer is maybe the only one left who is not in Don't Act. Yeah, and Sleep has the vertical tolerance, so I could target it on the piece of land next to the water there and target him. But this way I can target it on the water and still hit him with Paralyze. So I believe that's the only non-Don't Actor left on this lower part of the battlefield. So again, we've seen the versatility of the Oracles really come into their own here, because they've been able to do damage with their sticks, they've been able to do damage with Drain Life, and by the way, Don't Act will preclude you from doing any kind of dodge of your mantle or whatever. So if you're in Don't Act status, you can't use your shields or your mantles. It stops you from dodging attacks. So you can, when someone's in Don't Act status, you can more easily just walk up to their face and swing the stick at them. So that's another cool offensive maneuver that these guys can do. And actually, as I recorded this, I did not know that. But yeah, that Knight, since she's in Don't Act status, she is susceptible to you could just walk up to her and swing at her. Because she can't use her shield to dodge, or if she has a mantle, she can't use that to dodge. But it looks like I'm using Drain Life because I think it's a smart move anyway. Because we need to pick up some MP and some HP. Oh, looks like she did go for it instead of that. Sorry about that. So it looks like she did go for the physical attack because it was 100% there, so you saw that. And this Oracle is going for a life drain to maybe finish the job, and it does. So we did recover a little bit. Right now, again, the risk is, we just have a couple archers down here. They're not posing a huge risk to us. There's another Knight tucked way back there in the corner, I guess, who's could become relevant again. Gafgarian can't quite get to us. There's not really much he can do. That archer is going to chill out down there. That Knight's going to chill out down there and then be healed of Don't Act. So that Knight is now free again. Now here's interesting because I don't know what to do with Ramza. Ramza needs to recover some MP, so I'd like him to do some kind of a move. I'd like him to move somewhere where Gafgarian will do his own move. I'm just checking to see if he has any movement ability. So I'm counting tiles here because I think he's going to move for three tiles, and then he's got a reach on his Night Sword. So I think I was counting that so that Ramza was in a place that he couldn't move and then strike. But I would like him to move into range of Ramza then casting on it. So I think that's what I found at that spot. She's going to come down here, and I think she's going to maybe take a swing. And you can see that Don't Act getting around their dodge is really big. They're doing some really solid damage with the sticks here. Now that knight is just healed of Don't Act status, so I think that's what I'm looking to do here. I'm just checking to see if it's worth trying to land that on the knight again. We're going to cast and move. That's good. And I don't think Gafgarian can get as far as that Oracle either. And it looks like, yeah, Ramza did successfully find a spot that Gafgarian just couldn't quite get to him. I don't know if he was 1 or 2 squares away from being able to attack Ramza, but either way, I'm happy about that. So she could use a little HP, no problem here. So let's see if we can get a drain off. She can't hit him with anything with a physical attack, so let's maybe finish this archer off over here. And I'm looking at where I have threats left, and I think a smart choice. That Oracle's just going to do a in-between move. She's going to start moving over towards the other side of the battlefield, trusting that these other 2 Oracles can finish the job with this archer. Especially landing that life drain is good. Every little bit helps. And if this Oracle can land Don't Act on that knight, that will keep things locked down for another few rounds for us. And she did miss. She had a lower chance to land that one. So now the other side of the battlefield is a little more dangerous because we have a fully compatible or a fully capable knight who can throw a stone at us, and we also have a fully capable archer. Now Ramza's going to look and see where he can move to still target Gafgarian and try to get Don't Act on him again. And something I need to start thinking about is Don't Acting him, but also we need to find a way to kind of win this fight. We need to have Ramza be able to start taking some hit points away from Gafgarian and kind of keep that going. But Gafgarian's going to be running away from us if he gets paralyzed. Now, this is where I made a bit of a tactical error because Gafgarian's got a turn coming up right now. I'm not sure. I don't think there's a place I could have moved Ramza where he would not be attackable from Gafgarian. So I really need this to land so that he can get another hit down because Gafgarian is going to get a turn right now and restore himself by, I think, a little bit less than that. I think it's a little bit less than that. Yeah, 45 instead of 54, so a net of 9 there. Now, if Ramza could reliably land that every time, you know, he'd be okay. But because there's a chance to miss, I want to be as safe as I can with it. So we're going to move, looks like 2 squares away into the water here. And because he's in Don't Act, he can't dodge. So we are just going to finish the job. Boom, with the stick. Okay, so now I've got a little bit more dangerous situation over here. Because I've got those 2 characters who both are, like I said, fully capable. They can do whatever they want. So I'm going to take another hit from that archer no matter what I do here. And it's just a kind of a matter of, do I want to be charging a spell when that archer gets a turn? Now, this Oracle has plenty of hit points, 134. She could take an attack from both of them and still be on her feet. So that's not a huge problem. But the problem could be something like, you know, if I'm charging a paralyze and that archer happens to just move right next to me or something weird like that. I don't anticipate an archer would do that, but I'm looking to see who I can paralyze or if I want to go for a life drain. So you see me kind of go back and forth in my decision making. She decides to go for the higher chance life drain. And you can see me looking at all the different possibilities. And I know that there's a life drain being charged on her, not a paralyze being charged on her. And I'm going for the same thing again. So she's going to charge and then move. She'll be farther away from the knight and even farther away from the archer. The archer might be able to move and still plunk her, but she'll start to get farther that direction. And now this Oracle is fine. She should have close to full or full hit points. Yeah, she does have full hit points. So she can take a couple of whacks. And then that other one landed also. So that knight is now 80 hit points down. And he's going to go for a charge right there. Okay, cool. And now we can start moving our other oracles to be a little bit more into position. They still can't quite reach any of the enemies. And this knight can come up to the front of my other character. And she uses dash instead of the sword swing, I think because of the accuracy. Because dash gets around your evasion. So the mantle helped us there because I think the knight decided to use a dash instead of going for a sword swing that has a chance to miss. That's my guess. Okay, so now Ramza's going for another paralyze on Gafgarian. I'd really like him to land this one because if it misses, Gafgarian gets another action and can restore himself, and Ramza is then another hit down, and Gafgarian is, of course, another hit heal. So that's actually going to happen here. He gets a bonus because he's charging, so it gets more health, does more damage. Gafgarian's at full health now because he's one drain up on us, plus it was for more damage. So this is maybe the diciest part of the battle, because if Ramza goes down, all Gafgarian needs to do is just hang out behind that wall. If he just moves back there, I'm actually not sure what would happen if that happened. If he took Ramza out, all he'd have to do is just go back and wait till Ramza turned into a crystal and it'd be game over. But if Gafgarian like tried to come up to the wall to, use his ranged attacks on the oracles, maybe we could get him with our stuff. Maybe we could get him with Life Drain. You'll see that that's not what happened in this fight, but that would be an interesting thing to happen if that's how it rolled out. If Ramza, say, missed this paralyze. And here's where I'm looking to see, like, ooh, do I need to start having oracles come over to the wall and help Ramza out with their ranged attacks? And I think that's where this oracle is starting to move. She can't do anything right now, but I think she's starting to move that direction now that there's only just that one archer down here on the ground. So there he is. Gafgarian is in Don't Axe at us. So I have, I think, like 3-ish rounds before he comes back. So Ramza is now going to start to think about opening that gate. Because if the gate is open, then if Ramza happens to go down, I've got 4 other characters who are on their feet who can come in and finish the job with Gafgarian. So Ramza is going to charge a life drain to gain some hit points for himself, so that in case Gafgarian does get an action in range of Ramza, he can do it. Now Ramza doesn't move right there, and I'm looking to see, can I get to Gafgarian from where she can move? And I'm counting tiles. I'm moving over here because, as you will see, she can indeed target Gafgarian across the wall. And Gafgarian is going to take that hit again. So Gafgarian is going to get another one. This oracle takes the bow hit and gets the lightning strike afterwards. So that's a lot of damage in a short time right there. I really can't afford, at this point in the battle, after working this hard, I really can't afford to have someone just go down on a fluke like that. Because I don't want to lose any characters. Remember, the challenge is you got to keep everybody on their feet throughout this whole battle. Now Gafgarian in Don't Act status is just he's gonna run away. Okay, so here I'm just gonna move into stick range, it looks like. And then maybe just take a whack at that archer, because that's gonna be the fastest way to take him out. It's not gonna require any MP on our part. And we can't quite move into stick range with the other oracle, but we can move into life drain range, which is a pretty low chance to hit, but it will finish the job if we do land it. And I need my other character. I'm counting tiles. Can I quite get to where I can target the archer? It looks like she can if she jumps down into the water. So we'll target a couple of low probability life drains. If either one of them lands, then we are finished on our side of the wall. And it's just up to Ramza on the other side. So that one's going to miss. You can tell by the animation if they don't do the reaction where it looks like they're being hurt, then that misses. And so they will just stand up and stand still if it's missing. So he's going to try to shoot. So what happened there was the archer tried to target the archer that was in the water. But instead the arrow was going to hit my character who was standing between those two. And I don't think the game made a mistake there. I think it was on purpose. He wanted to target the one closest. But because that character was not in the range of the bow, that it couldn't. So here's Ramza getting another life drain out. And so, yeah, but it tried to hit her, but she still could dodge it because it came at her. And then, of course, it didn't hit the one behind her. So kind of a quirky little bit of mechanics there. So I'm looking to see where I can go to help Ramza out. I can't really do anything from down here. Gafgarian is now over here, too far away for us to hit. And so we're just picking up some MP right there. And she gets the move MP also, so she is fully restored. Gafgarian's out of Don't Act status already, so he's going to move over here, and he's going to target Ramza and pick up some HP. Ramza was full before then. Because he's not charging, he doesn't get the bonus, so it is going to be 45, which is nice. Ramza can charge another... he can charge another life drain on him and then do a move. To open up the gate, there is a switch that you can move Ramza to that's on the ground, and it's on the far side of the gate from where Ramza is now. So he's going to take a few rounds to get down there. It's going to take him a few moves to get down there, but if he opens that gate, then the other oracles would be safe to jump in after Gafgarian if Ramza does happen to get KO'd. So now I actually want to move my oracles into position outside the gate so that they can be on hand to help Ramza out as quickly as possible. So Ramza also is low on MP here. So he has exactly 10 MP, which is just enough to do an attack, or the Paralyze spell. That's just enough to cast Paralyze. And I really would like him to land it so that Gafgarian can't just come down and keep restoring his hit points at Ramza's expense. And so because Gafgarian, again, is too far away to target, we're just going to have to move outside the door. Now, this is important because Ramza does have the battle boots on, so that allowed him, you saw him move 4 squares going down that hill. He could just jump all the way down there from the top of the hill where the wall's built into, the rampart, down to the ground. So now his next move, he can move to the switch, which you'll see. The other oracles are just kind of hanging out right here. Now, Ramza did land, as I said, the Paralyze on Gafgarian. He's going to get a move here. He's going to get a little bit of MP. There's a quick dialogue box here. As he pushes the lever, the gate opens, and now our other oracles can move into the space. So Ramza can just wait. Gafgarian will hang out up in that corner until he is out of Don't Act status. There's nothing I really need from those chests. But I think I'm going to have one oracle go in and try to maybe mop up the chests, it looks like. And the other 3 are going to come in here to be backups to Ramza if needed. Because Gafgarian is going to be coming at them here fairly soon. They only have 3 movement because they are using mantles instead of boots, so they're not going to be able to charge in quite as quickly as Ramza would be able to move. Now, Ramza, he could... One of his options would be to kind of run away a little bit, to move... move towards the oracles and maybe draw Gafgarian down that hill. But it looks like he's just going to wait there. Gafgarian, when he's healed of Don't Act status, then he will move. And again, the hope is that Gafgarian moves to where he can't hit us, but we can then move and hit him. So you saw Ramza got another turn very quickly because he neither moved nor acted there. He did no move, no act. So he will have turns coming up fairly regularly. And so will Gafgarian, because Gafgarian also is just hitting weight. But now Gafgarian he's the last one standing. I believe he is free of Don't Act status. And we're just checking to see how quickly Don't Act would go off. And it will go off before he gets another turn. So if I can move Ramza here and get a Paralyze to land on Gafgarian, then that'll be just about GG, because then Gafgarian will run to that corner. Then my other characters will be able to just kind of corner him there and drain life him or hit him with the sticks till he's down. But now we have multiple targets. We have more backup here. And we did get that one extra hit off on Gafgarian, remember, earlier, but he did recover himself from that. So we can reach life drain here. So Ramza is going to be doing a Paralyze, but we're also going to be hitting him with some drain lives here. And I believe this was the right call to make to get Ramza some backup. Ramza may have been able to do the job himself, but it was going to be pretty slow. It was going to be quite slow if he was just kind of playing cat and mouse with Gafgarian here, on and on and on. So we're just checking to see what our turn order is. Looking to see if there's anything that we can do to assist. And there isn't. And I'm counting tiles again because this one looks like we can kind of pop in there and get another life drain on Gafgarian. If that lands, that's going to be it. Otherwise, we'll have to have someone jump up there. Gafgarian does dodge that one. Ramza is going to target. This is his paralyze. If this was a life drain and it landed, that would also be it. But Gafgarian is in don't act status. He's going to get an action. He's going to run away back to his corner up there. I don't know if I actually can pick up. Not quite. I can't quite get another crystal or chest with the treasure collector that I left back there. Now Ramza's going to come up here. He's actually 2 tiles away. He's in stick range right here, and because Gafgarian's in don't act status, he cannot block that attack with his shield. Ramza gets a crit, and that is that. We are about to head into Lionel Castle. That is the end of Gafgarian. Immediate instant crystal. If you like this video, feel free to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, make a comment, or hit me up on Twitter where I'm also active _ATE. We will see you next time.